It would seem as though.
Hi. Hello.
That was probably the subtlest, softest hello ever.
I'm very demure. I'm
You
very
are demure.
mindful.
You are very mindful. You know what? I just want to kick off talking about that because I'm so mad about that.
I am spitting.
Jules, what's her last name?
LeBron.
Jules LeBron. Young trans woman who... And if you haven't heard her thing, you haven't been on probably TikTok or anywhere because now everybody's saying it. And I've heard people like
Celebrities.
Yeah, celebrities saying that, which is she did this whole thing about, well, when I go to work, I don't do a green cut crease.
Yeah,
I'm very mindful. I'm very demure.
I'm very cute.
Very cutesy.
Yeah.
So she did this whole video and it went almost instantly viral.
Yeah.
And she actually ended up making a whole lot of money off of it. And according to her, she made enough money that she could pay for her transition, which I think that's amazing.
Snaps for you, girl.
I mean, I love that. And I love you being, lucky enough to have a thing that goes viral and make money from it.
Hell yeah, girl.
Here's what I don't love. That some jackass trademarked her stuff, calling it his own.
I'm going to give you an update, though.
Please do.
I think that it's been handled. I can't say any more than that, but I think it's been handled. Because Jules came on her little ticking of the talk recent, and said, thank you everyone for, your love and support when I was obviously stressed out about this trademark. But just so you know, it's been handled.
Okay.
And so I don't know what that means, but that whole kind of chicanery shouldn't happen. That's fucked up to me.
No, because it was her property, her, what do you call that, intellectual property.
Ma'am.
And, obviously you can't trademark a word, but when it's an entire phrase, you can. And when it's that entire shtick that she was doing, which, by the way, super cute and funny, you can trademark it. And it was like, why would you steal from a young trans woman of color?
Yeah.
It was like, do you think the world hasn't already stolen enough and caused enough trouble for this girl? So I was real mad about it.
No, same salty. But if it's being handled for her benefit, then I'm into it.
But it still makes me go, what kind of an asshole are you?
And that people like that exist. And I want you to know, this is a sidebar, but, I'm taking business classes, right? And so much of it talks about capitalism and, the private market and which is all just fucking capitalism.
Right.
And they talk about it in like generic terms, they meaning like textbooks and shit. And how it's just a form of government. It's just a form of governmental system. And I'm like, no, it is inherently more evil than that. Do you know what I mean? It's all about amassing wealth over other people. Like, that is what it is. And it's about people can become exorbitantly wealthy, but people can also lose literally everything and be destitute. Like, that is the society that people want. And that's weird to me.
Right.
And so when I'm reading about it, I'm like, the notes I'm taking is like, and the definition of capitalism, like a soul-sucking, like money-grubbing little bitch. Like, I can't think of it in beneficial terms because I've seen the destruction.
I don't remember if I talked about this on here, but on one of the days I was watching the Ticking Talk, there was this young queer farmer.
Okay.
And his neighbor, first his neighbor flipped out on him because he hung a pride flag on his barn.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
On his barn, on his property,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, and they're, whatever. So they came and actually stole his pride flag.
That's right.
And so then he painted the entire side of his barn as a pride. Well, that's a good fuck you.
Yeah.
Love that. But then he was explaining something about farming that I had no idea. He said farmers cannot use their own seeds from their crops to grow new crops. They have to buy seed, and they have to buy it from these certain companies.
Interesting.
Otherwise, they can get fined.
Okay.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Because I know in, previous times and further back, that's exactly how people farmed, is they saved up their seeds, they did replanted their crops, did whatever.
It's because you have to...
And, I don't know shit about farming, even though I grew up in farm country.
Yeah.
But I do know that a lot of farms were pretty much self-sustained. So this, to me... Well, and the fact that they pay farmers to not grow food. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you don't want to create too much food, because you might be able to keep the prices down, and then everybody will not be starving, and we hate that.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me.
I know. I hate that shit. I can't talk about things like that because it makes me way too upset. The idea that you have regulated... I mean, regulations aren't inherently a bad thing, but when you use them to keep people impoverished, it's evil, you know? And so the fact that currently in the world, there's enough food, there's enough housing, there's enough literally everything to go around for everybody. Everybody in the world. But because of regulation, because of quote-unquote standards, farmers are made to throw shit away. You know what I mean? Farmers are made to not grow food, as you said. Things that, like, in the government, this is same subject, but the government also has, like, a backstock of dairy products. Do you know what I mean? Like, that they were subsidizing out back in the day, but they've had these dairy products, and it's, like, a well-known thing that they have, like, I don't know necessarily what all it is. Probably cheese, right? Wrapped in plastic. Or not plastic, wax. But, like, cool, because they sent that out. That was, like, commodity cheese. I couldn't imagine. Could you imagine walking into, like, I don't know, a cave or facility and there's just
walls
cheese.
And walls of cheese. Well, that's kind of actually my dream.
Yeah.
And to walk into a... I mean, I'd never poop again, but I want to go to a room
you know
where there's
what?
nothing
I would be
cheese.
okay with that. I want you to know that, like, that doesn't surprise me. How the government functions when it comes to, like, quote-unquote helping its people, it wouldn't surprise me if they were hoarding food. I mean, they already, again, pay farmers to not grow food. They pay them to throw food away.
Yeah.
They, you know, grocery stores get rid of imperfect foods when they could just donate it, but legally they cannot. Like, it is some of the most...
I don't understand that at all.
No, it's bananas.
It seems to me that if you were a store where you're like, well, these vegetables are kind of ugly. We can't sell those. No one's going to want to buy those. Let's box those up and send them down to the, the homeless shelter.
Yep.
Or whoever. I mean, really, who cares if your green pepper is malformed?
Who gives a shit? Like, yeah.
Well, and so they, of course, had that service, the imperfect foods.
Yeah.
It's like, because the food they're selling is like, maybe it's a candy bar that got broken, or maybe it's, a misshapen pear, or whatever. Who cares?
It's something so benign.
But it's like, it doesn't affect the quality or the taste. It's just it's harder to sell.
It looks funny. That's so stupid. Like, that's the other problem. We have too much choice. I know it sounds bad, but we do. If you go to a European grocery store, they have 3 choices of cereal. Do you know what I mean? They have 2 choices of bread.
They don't have a whole aisle that's 6 shelves deep,
Girl, that's what I'm saying. And so we come here, and for what? Why do we have 872 types of cereal? What is the point?
Right.
And it's because of diversification, of capitalism, making more money, and you diverse your products. That way you can just capitalize on all of it. But that is diabolical. Like, what is the point of that? You're creating more waste for shit people probably won't buy, or they'll try it once, but you've created so much waste.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so dumb to me. Capitalism and Western culture is so stupid to me. And I hope people are seeing that more and more, and I think maybe a little bit, but it is so trying, girl.
Talking about that, it makes me think of fast fashion and how it's really destroying the world. How I watched part of this documentary about, I think it was Lululemon.
Lululemon.
Not Lululemon.
Oh.
Lululemon.
Oh.
I think it was them, and I might be wrong. It doesn't matter. It was but it's like fast fashion, especially stuff that's made overseas.
Yeah.
It's usually child labor.
Yeah.
It's, I saw this thing saying that the children who get hired to make this particular clothing are offered like this wage, and it's 5 days a week, and you get this many, but then when you read further into it, it's like, but you are expected to work all these hours of overtime and probably every weekend, and you will get for sure 1 day off a month, and these are children.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? So you're working them at literal slave, kind of labor things, and it's like, but it's also all of the stuff that they don't use, all of the surplus and the, I'm trying to remember what they call it, the remnants, end up going into a dump.
Yeah.
But then it ends up like in the ocean, and it ends up, the clips they were showing, I was horrified But that's this machine that is capitalism. It's like, well, I need 17 more pairs of pants because this is what's trendy or cute today. And it's like, it makes me think a lot of my childhood. Because though I wanted, all the new cute things, I was always a fat kid, so I didn't get to wear the cute new things. But I was also the poor kid. Yeah. So it's like, you wore your clothes until they fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that. Well, and in fast fashion, too, it uses more water, it uses more chemicals. It's horrible for humans, it's horrible for the environment. Yeah. It's just like...
And denim, apparently, is the worst.
That's not surprising to me. Well, and there's a lot of issue. We need to make quality clothing at affordable prices that people can buy, that are going to stay together, right? Also, the idea of a fashion cycle needs to be removed because people are buying.
Oh, yeah.
People are buying things depending on a season, and that's stupid. I used to be I would never say I was fashion girly, but I was way more into fashion. Like, I went to school for it, right? I was into it. I thought it was going to be like what I did. It was too wasteful. It was too vapid. It was too... and I understand the beauty. I understand that. But true high fashion is different than everyday run-of-the-mill, ready to wear. You get the shit from fucking Target or Walmart. But I don't know. I recently just bought 2 shirts. And one of them's like a basic t-shirt and one of them's a sweatshirt. And I bought it because it has Elliot Stabler and Olivia Benson from Law & Order SVU on it, flipping off the camera.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I got that. Really cute. Very demure. Very mindful. But I don't anymore buy a lot of clothing. But it is so wasteful. One thing I will say is all these girlies who are like, oh, I thrift. I just go and thrift. I love that for you. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're thrifting. I'm glad you're a size 4 or a size 2. Because let me tell you, fat people, big people, curvy bitches cannot go thrifting the same way.
Well, even you're not a big girl, but you're tall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
And so I imagine there's not a lot in thrifts for you, either, unless you're buying some Daisy Dukes.
Right, or I bought my army blouse that says Diaz on it, right? Yeah. From, the Vietnam War.
Shirts and stuff, sure, but
different.
Pants?
No. And so I think that...
You can't have coffee cat.
That is not very mindful. That is shitty to say to people, to be like, you had to go... X, Y, and Z, you had to go to this store to go shop. Why don't you just go thrifting? Look at your body type, Kate Moss, compared to literally anybody else,
Another thing that I find kind of interesting is that when you see people who are making things, makers, who are making quilts, making beautiful clothing, making whatever it is, and then they put a price on it that is appropriate for the hours and the product and, all the things they had to put into it. And people are horrified, I can buy this on Amazon for, $20. You can't. Mm-hmm. You can buy a cheap knockoff of it that is going to fall apart. But if you're buying somebody's beautiful handmade quilt that took them hours and days and whatever to make...
Yeah.
It's going to last for generations.
Yeah.
If you keep it that way, because that was the other thing back when I was young. I remember everybody was passing on those kind of things. And because I remember having quilts and stuff that my grandmother made or that her mother made. It's stuff that was really old. And I still have somewhere, I have an Afghan that was specifically crocheted for me as a gift when I was in high school. Okay. That thing is it'll never fall apart unless I take scissors or let my dogs on it. Yeah. But it's there needs to be kind of something in between. Yeah. Not quite fast fashion, but not also, because I can't afford, of course, hundreds and thousands of dollars for clothing. I have children.
No.
And I couldn't even before I had children.
What we should do? We should all go to somebody who can just make clothes for us. We should all go to a tailor. Not a tailor. Seamstress? I don't know.
Seamstress.
One or the other. Where you go and you're measure me, this is what I want. And then we're employing small businesses. We're not buying fast fashion. They can make it, and sometimes it can be spendy depending on what you're buying. But if you're buying just this top right here, it's probably a little more expensive than you bought. Cute little lacy, notes and whatever. But I feel it would still be quality. You would be able to wear it for literal ever. But also the sad thing is I like material that's comfortable. Yes. Because I'm so uncomfortable recently that I just like being comfy. I always really like being comfy. If I'm home, I'm not wearing skin tight, low cut, fitted, nothing. I'm wearing little volleyball shorts and a sweatshirt. Like, I'm wearing comfy t-shirts and sweats. You know, I don't like to be uncomfortable in my own space.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like jersey because it's soft and it's stretchy. You know, I like that. And I know that's not, like, that's cheap. It's cheap, right? That a lot of loungewear is very cheap shit.
It is. But there is also higher end stuff that will last longer.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But yeah, that's just part of capitalism that is just...
And that's just a part of capitalism.
Many parts of capitalism that's fucking up the world.
Yeah, I know. And it's... I don't know. I feel like every time I talk about things like this, I just sound like like a nut job. You know what I mean? I feel like I sound like a crazy person who's just spouting off.
People are used to this way of life, and like, what do you mean capitalism is bad?
Oh, so you want to be a communist? You want to be like Russia? You know?
And that's the only other option.
That's it.
If you're saying capitalism is bad, you are a communist.
Yeah.
If you're saying everybody should have health care, you're a communist. If you're saying everyone should have an education that doesn't cost them, you're a communist. If you whatever it is,
it's so funny,
and it's like.
Well, and do you want to know something? That we don't live in a pure capitalist society. I want you to know that, because we have socialized things. There are states, the Oregon Health Plan is socialized healthcare.
Yeah.
Social Security is socialized, right? So it's socialism. Like, and so we live in a mixed kind of method. We live in a mixed, I don't know what it's called, but we use bits and pieces of everything, but it's obviously very heavy-handed on the capitalism. But it's not beneficial, y'all. Like, I want you to know that, yes, it is beneficial to the already rich, but who cares? Guess what? They can't die with that money. And guess what? When they do die, what are they going to do? The planet is already fucked. Like, I don't know.
You're going to be another one of those billionaires who nature says, we're done with you. Like the one who recently was in a boat and the storm came up and wiped out his boat and him and all the people on it.
I'm about it. And let me tell you what, I'm not cheering the death, but I said comeuppance, bitch. I say that's the most accurate comeuppance, because if the act of God is wiping you out, or the orcas are sinking your yacht, I'm about it. I don't care. Or you're going down to go see the Titanic in a tin can. Okay. The ocean said, not on my watch, motherfucker. Smash, smash, you know?
Right.
And, like, people felt bad and and I want you to know, this is my wholehearted, honest opinion, I did not feel bad, because they built some shoddy, or someone built some shoddy fucking tin can to go down to the bottom of the ocean with people who are billionaires who have no business going to the bottom of the ocean.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And so, like, they had no idea. They had no expertise. They knew nothing. And they went down there, and they were billionaires who wanted to go see the Titanic. Leave those dead white people alone.
Well, it's also like the billionaires who have rockets or spaceship, whatever. It's like, we're going to go into space. And I'm going to sell, tickets for $1 million to go. Okay, Richard Branson, you already have enough money.
But, like, also,
stop.
Also, how cool would it be to see space? Sure, but you're doing it for shits and gigs. You're not doing it for, like, any exploratory reason. You're doing it for any beneficial reason other than just to go sightsee in space.
That's why when James Cameron did it, I was like, well, he's actually doing it for education stuff, and all of the stuff he did was all with big teams of scientists,
right?
Teams of engineers.
I'm about it.
He wasn't just some dumbass billionaire going, I want to go down the bottom of the
Campbell's,
ocean.
Can you build me a soup can big enough to shoot me into space? I don't know. There should be no billionaires. Full stop, period. The house down boots, bitch. There should be no billionaires. The fact that a person has even $1 billion, I don't think people can conceptualize a billion versus a million. It's a lot of fucking money, and it's unnecessary. Bitch, give me $1 million and I would be contented more than likely for the rest of my life.
Math is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
But 1 billion is 1,000 million, right?
Okay, wait.
Because you can have $900 million.
So it's 900. It's after 999 million.
Yeah, is $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it's $1,000 million.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Most people don't even make like $2 million in their lifetime.
Mm-mm.
Most average people.
Yeah.
It's like, so 1,000 millions?
Girl.
And I watched this thing the other day where this economist was saying, if all the people who had that kind of money just paid their taxes, and I'm not saying paid extra taxes, paid special taxes,
Yeah.
just paid what they owed the government in taxes, it would alleviate so much of the crisis that we go through now.
And they would still have so much fucking
and they
money.
would still have ridiculous amounts of money. But
Yeah.
as you had mentioned before, the more money you get, the more money you feel you need, and you have to just keep pushing and earning. And like, I can't lose my status as being a gazillionaire. And it's like, why?
That's so stupid. I know, because there is, like, social scientists and different scientists have come down. There is like economists and stuff have come down. There is a baseline amount of money that would make you. And I'm going to go with, like, I think they did this for Americans, right? Based on American culture and how much things cost here. There's a baseline amount of money that you need to be happy, right? Because money isn't, whatever.
Doesn't buy happiness.
There you go. Money, happiness, not the thing.
Right.
Whatever. But a certain amount does. You've never been poor, clearly, right? Like, money can bring some happiness, but there's a certain amount. And then once you go above that, it's unnecessary. It's all just more money, right?
Right.
But, like, think about it. If you have $2 billion and even the government taxes you 50%, yeah, you're losing $1 billion, but you still have $1 billion.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm shook.
It doesn't make sense to me. Because I am one of those cuckoo people who, as the lottery numbers get higher and higher and higher, I have my lottery dream, which I know is so far-fetched.
Yeah.
I don't care. But it's like, when it's getting close to $1 billion, I think, if I won even 100 million, so way less than $1 billion, 100 million, I would easily give away 3/4 of it.
Oh, yep.
Because I don't need that kind of money.
No.
What the fuck am I going to do with it? Am I going to be one of these dumbass celebrities who's like buying houses everywhere and doing? I don't care about any of that. What I would want to do is change the lives of all of my friends and the family that I have chosen to keep as family, or just chosen as family. I want to change all of their lives in small ways, in big ways, and whatever. And not to be all magnanimous about it just because I could.
Yeah.
You know, because being, that poor kid, the idea of I could actually change someone's life with a chunk of money, that's amazing to me.
Agreed.
But also, I think I would start scholarship funds.
Oh, yeah.
I would, go down, spend big money on, like, trying to figure out things for create a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Or tiny homes.
Something.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, my money could do
good
and actually benefit a community.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. You and I are on the same path of exactly what I would do. I even thought about, like, I could just, like, buy apartment buildings. You know what I mean? And low income families could live there and pay, like, nothing. Or whatever, pay very minimal money, whatever it is to, like, pay the base rent.
Yeah.
And then if I was a bajillionaire, I don't give a fuck.
No.
Right? But, like, scholarships, obviously, my goal, I want a compound, but on that compound, I need to have an animal sanctuary. Right. But I also think if I had all this property, I would want to, like, grow food and have a farm and do all this shit and then hire people to run it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because we talked about that yesterday, the kids and I. It's like, no, I want to have a big chunk of property.
Yeah.
And then people to take care of it. Because I sure as shit am not plowing, weeding, planting,
well,
none
and
of
not
the
just
things.
property. I need property with things happening. So I want farming happening, and I want animals being taken care of. And I'll go over there, and I'll go look and supervise and be like, good, you're doing a good job. But I want to do it. But also, when we're hiring people, right? People have...
Right, creating jobs.
Girl, we are stimulating that economy. Like, I'm about it.
And paying people a livable
Right,
wage.
and so I love that. I love that our lottery goal, our big windfall of money goal is to, like, help other people and just do good.
Yeah, to help
and other
people and animals.
I'm gonna go buy a yacht. I'm gonna travel the world. I'm gonna go to space. Why?
Yeah.
Can we move there? Then I want to go.
Yesterday, the kids and I, as you know, drove to the beach. And
I do know.
You drive through a lot of country
Yeah.
to get there. And actually, even more so on the way back because we went a different route. And it's just beautiful kind of farmland.
Yeah.
But as we're driving through farmland, they were both like, I want to live on a farm. I want to, it's like, I want a big piece of property. And it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't want to live in the country. But if I was self-sustaining, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to drive, an hour to work. If I didn't have to socialize with the, Trumpers or the whoever that lived, in that neighborhood than I would.
No, 100%.
But I would want it really, like you said, to have some kind of sanctuary for animals.
Yes.
Because the more I watch that goddamn dodo
it's
and
so
all of
wonderful.
their animal rescues, I'm like, I need to rescue more animals. Like I did last week by getting another dog.
I want you to know, the dodo kills me, but I'm watching so many little cute animal videos and looking at like all the things of, I should adopt that because it needs a home. A Himalayan fucking guinea pig or some shit. I don't know. I've never had a guinea pig, but he's so cute and needed a home. Huh. There was a little video I was watching, just a little clip, and it was just this little African bird sitting in front of a fireplace. It's like a 15-year-old bird. It's like the quote says, like, when you live in the middle of Texas in the summer and your parents light the fireplace so you can feel close to your ancestors in Africa because it's 1,000,000 degrees and this little tiny bird is just so happy. And I've been watching like these little parakeets be cute with their little family, or a little old lady parakeet gets out of her house to go kiss like the laminated picture of her late husband.
Oh,
and I'm like, do I like birds? Like, since when did I ever think birds were cute? And now I'm looking at all these birds being like, oh my god, they're just little babies. Like, I don't know. Am I going to love fish next? Am I going to think fish are cute?
No.
I can't. Ma'am, this bitch, I can't have any more animals. This bitch will eat it. My cat, my 37-pound cat. No, she's just 20.
Just 20.
She just a 20-pound little baby.
All. But speaking of babies, today is, for my kids, is the first day back at school.
Yeah. Thank God.
I have never been one of those parents, because people say, oh my God, I bet you're so glad the kids are going back to school. And usually I'm like, meh, I don't really care one way or the other.
Yeah.
I know it's good for them. It's good for them to be on a schedule.
Well, it's
good for them to see their friends. It is good for me. It took me a lot of years to be able to go, yeah, it is good for me. I can have some quiet.
Yeah.
I can have me time. It's hard to even have me time with, 4 dogs and
2 kids and an old lady.
And an old lady with dementia. But I try to get it here and there. But them being back in school, is huge, and I'm so happy about that. But it makes me think of kind of one of the things I want to talk about today.
Tell me.
Is performative parenting.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Well, I've been doing hair as long as you've been alive.
Right.
So,
Just
I have
16 years.
Yeah. I have a sea of people that come to me who have children who all behave in different fashions. Mm-hmm. Some people who are just like, hey, yeah, my kid is doing this or my kid's doing that, but not like in a boastful kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my kid's doing Boy Scouts now. Or, hey, did I tell you that my kid has started college or has gone to whatever. Yeah. It's just because we talk about our lives, and once you've been doing someone's hair for years, you kind of know everything about them. But then you have the people who their status comes from their children.
How great their children
which I think is bizarre. I mean, I adore my children.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be like, I'm great because they're great.
Yeah.
I'm great because somehow I raised them a certain way, or I lucked into the genetics lottery and have, a genius child.
Yeah.
I have this one client who, for the longest time, I was like, are you trying to make me feel bad about my own children because your children are geniuses?
So much better.
Who, are speaking French by the first grade and are skipping grades because they're such brilliant Cool?
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm not one of those people who's like comparing myself to everybody else. Or comparing my children. My children are my children.
Yeah.
And they have their own thing. But it's this whole thing, and I feel like a lot of the performative parenting started on like social media. Mm-hmm. Because you have these parents who want to make sure everybody knows that they are the best parent.
Yep.
And they do stupid ass things like giving their children little designer lunches that they've, carved their sandwich into the shape of a heart. And
I guess if you have nothing better to do, fine, make it cute. But
the children don't fucking care.
Yeah, but who cares?
And they're probably not even eating it. And they're not picking, oh, my mom loves me so much. She took the time to carve my... They're probably thinking, I'm kind of hungry. Where's the rest of the sandwich?
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Or they're going, I don't want this sandwich. I don't even like this. Or who cares? Whatever. But it's not for them. Mm-mm. It's for you.
Yeah.
It's for your social media presence. It's so you can be like, look what a great mom I am and you're not.
That's how I feel about a lot.
Look how I'm winning life.
I feel a lot about, like, mom hack kind of TikTok, you know what I mean? Those profiles where it's like, this is what I do for my kids. And I'm like, I don't know, watch me feed my 17 children the healthiest meal ever or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to. I also don't care about your children. Do you know what I mean? And not in a way that, like, I hope they die, but mostly I just do not care.
Being a mom, I know how important my children are to me.
Yeah.
I don't for a hot second think that anyone else is invested in, how cool or how smart or how funny or how whatever my children are. Mm-hmm. And no one else is going, well, those are the golden children. Mm-hmm. We have to all, like, be... No.
Yeah.
Because when I see other people's children in public behaving badly, I never think badly of those children. I think badly of the parents.
Yeah.
When people are allowing their children to just be obnoxious and going, oh, aren't they cute? And it's like, no, they're not. Mm-hmm. No one else thinks your kids are cute. When your kids are running rampant in Starbucks, no one fucking thinks they're cute.
No.
When they are running through the grocery store, pulling things off the shelves, not cute.
No. Not very demure.
And when they're screaming and being loud, not cute.
That is not cute. I know. I want you to know that I think this whole dreamy haze that is over parenting is such a joke. I feel like the evil witch in the woods watching the kingdom be suffocated by this idea that parenting is a good idea. I know it sounds really, really evil, but I just think I've seen so many parents. I've met so many people who have kids in their life, and I get it that you all think your kid is so important and special and whatever, and I'm glad that they have you to say that to them. But I don't care, and your kid probably isn't. To be honest, they're important to you, and that's how it should be. But until they can get out and prove to me that they're an important member of society, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? They're a little kid, let them be a little kid. Quit putting this, like, importance on them. I don't care how smart they are, how strong they are, how fast they are. It's damaging to make children part of your competition with others, because then you are instilling into them that they need to be these things. And I want you to know, firsthand, being told since forever by grandma that I had to always maintain this amount of, like, scholarship. It's exhausting, and, like, I'm an adult now, yes, and whatever, but, like, it is trying. And so to use, or divorced parents do it a lot, but to use your children as some sort of fodder in your whether divorce, custody trial, your popularity contest, your competition with others where there is literally none because you're raising fucking children. And this is the other thing. I wish we lived in not this society. I wish we lived in a more communal society, because, and in that case, mothers wouldn't be doing this shit. Parents wouldn't be doing this shit. They would be like, oh, hey, will you take the kids for a minute? To other parents. People would be helping each other, feeding children, caring about children, and not being like, well, my child can play the piano, and my child, who gives a fuck, bro? Like, congratulations, I like talented children. But the fact that you're using your child as some sort of pawn is stupid. And I think parents have fucking blinders about their children. And I will tell you, because I've known plenty of children, I have siblings who are these awful children who've done horrendous, vile, heinous things. And known parents to be like, but I love them so much. Like, if it was any other person, you would not. So that dumb fucking, oh, I gotta put my blinders on to make it through this tunnel vision. They're my son, they're my daughter, they're my whatever. But that is also scary and damaging. I can't trust you in the same way that I would trust somebody who is objective, because it feels like you're being done because they are your kid.
The thing that is such a weird line to me is the parents who are like that, but then there's the parents who disown their children because they're gay.
Yeah.
Or they're trans. Or they're dating someone of another race. Or they're whatever.
Dumb
and
shit.
It's like something that has offended them somehow because it conflicts with their religion.
Yeah.
It's, whatever. It's not how they were raised.
Yeah.
And, and
like
God knows, I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say, well, that is not how you were raised. You were not raised
gay.
My favorite is one of my friends when her sister became vegan. So one's a lesbian, the other's straight, but she's a vegan. And her mother one day in, like, anger said, I didn't raise my children to be a lesbian and a vegan. And she was equally mad about both.
I love that.
Because it was like, veganism is somehow shameful?
Yeah, well.
I mean, it certainly can be when that's your cross.
The whole personality.
When you're like, right, when that's your whole personality. It's like, well, I can't eat anything because I'm vegan, and, animals have faces and lives and things, and you're horrible. But it's just funny to me that's the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
If your children are horrible, turn out to be horrible people, it's probably your fault.
One.
Yeah. But if they turn out to be gay or bi or trans or whatever, that's how they were genetically made.
That's just who they are.
That's just who they are. And the people who are like, no, it's a choice. No, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
Is it? But then you say to them, well, was it a choice for you to be straight? Mm-hmm. Well, no, because that's normal.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's all normal. Mm-hmm. It's all just how people were created.
I know.
And how their genetics are and how whatever. But then, and it's always tied back to God.
I know. Fuck that shit.
It's like, well, in our Christian values, well, your Christian values are fucked if you think that it's a good Christian value to disown your children. Yeah. If you think that turning out your child because they are queer or they're anywhere in the queer umbrella, then you are trash.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not your child who's the problem. You're the problem.
It's so weird to me. Like, what would you... You're mad because your child, interracial marriage, queer, vegan, liberal, but, like, would you be as mad if they killed somebody? Would you be as mad if they molested somebody? Like, where's your line? And my thought is, too, you said there is that fine line between, like, oh, my baby little, you're so cute even though you killed your whole class, whatever, versus I disown you because you breathe wrong and you're gay, right? Like, there is that line, and they're both equally as harmful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think one is more obvious because it's like, you're gay, you better get out of my house and go, you race traitor, whatever. That's obviously overtly harmful. But when you smother, coddle, kill your children with, they're perfect in everything they do and they can never do any wrong, then they grow up thinking that they're perfect and they get into the real world and then somebody socks them the fuck down and says,
when you put on your mom goggles, and I've learned that from watching the Goldbergs, that once you have them on and you think that your children can do no wrong, and, I'm in a perfect example.
Okay.
Growing up, this character lived across the street from me. He was my age, in my class.
He was a character. Was that their last name, the characters?
Yes.
Bob, June, and Cindy.
Character. Right. Well, his name was Jack.
Oh, Jack.
And his parents were... they had come here from Germany. Or at least his mom had. I never met his dad. And she and I would do a German accent to tell this story, but I think that's probably problematic. But everything that Jack did, which was problematic behavior. I mean, he was a bully. He was a prankster, and his pranks were often kind of mean-spirited.
Yeah.
But Mom was like, oh, Jackie, he's so cute.
Oh, my God, I love this.
Oh, Jackie, he's so cute.
No, he is not.
No, I'm sorry, but when he put a snake in the teacher's desk and terrified the teacher, not cute. The teacher actually got hurt because when he opened the desk and the snake came out, he flew backwards and fell on the floor, hurt himself.
Oh my God!
It's like, no, that's not
Jackie.
Cute. When he, my favorite dumbass thing that Jackie did, that his mother was like, oh, he's so cute. He in high school, you'll know. Everybody I'm talking to on the pod won't know, but in our high school where Annika and I both went, there's what's called the senior parking lot.
Okay.
It's like by the gymnasium. Well, there was this huge pile of gravel because they were getting ready to re-gravel something.
Yep.
And he thought it'd be fun to drive his car up the gravel pile.
Yep.
And his car got high-centered and stuck.
Like it does.
And so then had to be, and you can't just tow it off of there. No. You have to do all kinds of shit. So it cost his parents a lot of money. It ended up costing the school money. And he, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, Jackie's so cute. Everything, it's like everything your child does is not cute.
Yeah, no.
Everything they do is not noteworthy.
No.
Every scrap of paper they bring home with a drawing on it is not art.
No, I'm going to tell you, I've seen, there are some cute things that I have seen, not because I'm a parent, because I like crafty things. Yeah. But, like, when your kid says, oh my God, Mom, look at this thing I painted. Or, look, I got this award, whatever. Hang it up for a minute, and then when it's the next award or next painting, move those into a binder. And now you have this binder, a chronological binder, of all of their art throughout the years, which makes way more sense to me than keeping every...
Or you could be a shit parent like me and throw half the stuff into recycling because you're like, I can't keep every scrap of paper
That's rude.
that you've drawn a picture on.
How dare you?
Or you have, slapped some... Listen, with my daughter, she will go through an entire drawing book, like a sketchbook, and draw a little scribble on each fucking page and be done with it.
Yep.
I'll be like, oh, here's a face.
Uh-huh.
Here's a moon.
Yep.
Here's a...
I know.
Yeah, whatever. And it's like, you used a whole book on, like, a little tiny dash of something, and it's like, no, that's all going in recycling.
Yeah.
I'm not going, oh my God, look at that artwork.
No.
You're so fabulous.
No.
I mean, I'm not going to criticize her and say, except I'll go, you could have drawn all of these on one page.
Yeah. It's very
They would have
wasteful.
all fit on one page.
This is not very demure. It's very wasteful.
It's not very mindful at all.
I have one thing I think saved specifically that Grace gave me, but it's not even a drawing. It's when we saw a movie and then we went to Pig and Pancake for breakfast after.
Uh-huh.
And she wanted to be something for Halloween, so she wrote on her little kids menu, I want to be a psycho killer for Halloween and kill people with the Bible. And she ripped it out and handed it to me because it was mid-conversation, and I read it and thought it was the funniest thing, so I keep it in my wallet.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, now, to me, that's, one, is hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah.
And, I would keep that.
Yeah.
I would,
I want to be a psycho killer.
This is what my daughter...
This is who she is.
This is who my child is.
I love it.
Yeah. But it just makes me... It makes me crazy when parents make being parents their entire identity.
And I think...
First of all, and then it's like, you're also taking away from that child because it's like, I am the one who created this child. I am the one that's curating this child into how I am... It's like, dear God, you're smothering that child is what you're doing. Yeah. And you're not letting them be whoever they're just naturally going to be. Yeah. Yes, you do need to guide and direct and blah-bitty, blah-bitty, blah.
Sure.
But I heard this thing the other day from the women that I love to listen to on I've Had It, talking about that by the time your kids are in high school, you should pretty well be done with the hands-on parenting. I mean, redirect, saying, hey, this, try this, or blah, 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 when they come to you. But they should be pretty autonomous by high school, where they can make their food, make their beds, clean their rooms, do all the things. You shouldn't be doing any of those things. Make dinner, sure. But, they should be able to survive if you're not there.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what... And I am absolutely guilty of this. I have just in the last probably 2 years gotten to where it's like my children now make their own breakfasts. And they make their own lunches. And I will help if they need it, but it's like...
Yeah.
And I'm also getting away from that, too. It's like, if you honestly need my help, you don't know how this works. But it's like, that box of microwave, lunch, whatever, it has directions on the side of it. Pick it up, look at the directions, and so that is now how I help, is say, pick up that box and read the directions.
I remember things being like, they would open a yogurt and be like, I need you to stir it for me. And I'm all, bitch, what do you mean? You can't stir yogurt?
When Parker was little and he would try, it would all come out the sides and he'd make a mess. And I think that's where that got started. And it just went on for far too long. And yes, again, that's me.
Uppies.
I created that mess.
Monster. That monster.
Right. It's funny when I think of smothering, parents, I think of the Goldbergs.
Yeah, which is so good.
Because of you, I started watching it.
Delicious.
I'm, in season 6 now.
Scrumptious.
It is so good.
And it's
so funny. But so much of it feels like, this feels exaggerated. Yeah. But it does feel like a life that I remember. But Beverly Goldberg.
I love
the ultimate smother.
I know, and I would hate her as a parent.
Absolutely.
But honestly, I love Beverly Goldberg so much. Because who is she? Wendy McClendon Covey? Okay, because people with hyphenated last names often get me fucked up because I'm like, I don't know which name comes first, other than yours, But anyway, Yeah, it's a great show.
It is, but it's like, I watch the way she parents her children.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, I'm nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
You know, where she's has to smother them also with affection to the point of where they're like squirming to get away from her.
You, yeah. Also, that is not your baseline, girl, so we don't use her as the standard to be like, okay, as long as I'm not Beverly Goldberg, I'm fine.
Listen! It's baby steps, man. It has taken me... I was already older than most parents when I became a parent. I know.
I had no idea.
Parker asked me today, he's like, he was looking at a date, and he goes, how old will I be? It was May of 2030. And he goes, how far out of school will I be? And I said, 1 year. Well, how old will you be?
100.
And so I told him, I said, old. And he just looked at me and I go, listen, when I started parenting, I was already older than most parents. So by the time my children graduate high school, I will be like probably the typical kid's grandparents' age. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever, it's fine. I mean, I already am.
Yeah.
I'm older than most of their teachers. But, oh my God, what was my point in telling you this? Now I don't fucking remember.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Parker wanted to know because of some reason.
I was going to say, but, you know, to kind of jump back to your thing about people birthing children and creating more life and blah, blah, blah. I feel the same way. For me, y'all do what you want to do. I feel the same way for me about children as I do about animals. And it's like, adopt. Mm-hmm. Don't go to a breeder to get your dog. No. And don't, if you want children, but you're like, oh, I don't want to have them, can't. There's so many kids out there that need adopting.
Yeah.
So I have 4 crazy dogs who were all adopted and 2 children who were adopted. Mm-hmm. And that way I'm not creating more to tax the society or shelters or stuff for the dogs and stuff. But it's like, one day I was on my way to work. There was a guy outside of my work holding up a sign that said, stop having children. Mm. And I was like, what? And so, because I was like, wait, what? And I went over and talked to him, and their whole thing was, stop reproducing. Mm-hmm. There are so many children out there who need homes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm right there with you. I said, I adopted my children, I adopted my animals. 100%.
Yeah.
But what's funny to me is I remember one of my nephews, he and his wife were struggling to conceive.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, I understand how that's sad and painful and whatever. I said, but adopt.
Yeah.
Because there's lots and lots of kids out there who need homes. And I couldn't do that. Why? Why is the child only your child if they share your DNA?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be, well, this baby is my baby because my genes are passed on through them. Mm-hmm. My genes weren't so great, so I wasn't so wild to pass them on. So
they're real worn out, holes in the knees.
Oh, God. Mm-hmm. My genes are from a whole different...
Oh, my God, a whole different generation, girl.
Yeah, there's some, like, overalls, some hee-haw overalls, I think.
With a plaid patch over the knee, and the butt's ripped out. It's very wrong.
All the things.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that you have to, you know, you have to birth your children or they're not your children. You have to get a designer dog from somewhere. You have to create, it's like, there's no need.
Yeah, but you can't say that, girl, because that means that whole in vitro goes out. That means... Well,
I mean, I'm not saying you can't have babies, but I'm saying there are other ways.
I agree.
And if you can't have children, it's not the end of the world. You know, if you want to be a parent, because obviously I wanted to be a parent, but neither, you know, T or I was like, well, we should be passing on our genetics. It's like when you have addicts in your genetics and you have
your 2 genes connected would be a nightmare. The Antichrist.
We'd have a fat little addict
with a bad attitude and too much anxiety, girl.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you'd say mean things and run away.
Well, probably not run away because you'd be fat.
Yeah, snack away. I don't know.
Right. You'd write mean letters and slide them under the door.
Yeah.
So I don't.
You would take kids' balls and pop them on recess or whatever you do.
Oh, no, that sounds dreamy.
I know.
The idea is like I just have a little sharp implement in my pocket.
You
when
take
they throw
your
the
hairpin
ball.
out and right back in.
One of the other things, again, about the Goldbergs, I'm going to jump back to that for just a second, is when in gym class on the show, it always stresses me out because they're playing dodgeball or climbing the rope or doing shit that I'm all. That was the bane of my existence as a child, and the idea that someone's throwing this hard rubber ball, and those rubber balls were fucking hard, throwing them at your face.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Listen,
I don't. And dodgeball to me, I think, is like the worst thing ever to happen in gym class. And I know people love dodgeball, but it's horrible.
Listen, I want you to know I didn't hate gym class until I got to the age where they started making you dress down.
Yeah.
And I only hated gym class because I was queer, and, that was a whole issue. But I liked playing the games. I liked having fun. That was fun to me, like playing Capture the Flag or playing whatever games. I thought that was fun until I got to high school and they made you dress down. And I said...
Did you like playing dodgeball?
I had no problem with it. But I was also, remember my whole life, I was kind of a little athlete. I was in, all the sports. So, I like playing sports. I did like it. It's fun for me.
Could you climb the rope?
We didn't have to do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who you fucking think you're talking to, but I would have been like...
because when I was young...
I can't. I know.
They had that whole...
fitness test.
The presidential... What was it called? It was like... The president's fitness thing... It was created by
Wasn't
Ronald
it in
Reagan.
the Goldbergs?
Yeah. Because the specific one they were doing in the Goldbergs was created by Ronald Reagan. But there was one before that, obviously, because I wasn't in school when Reagan was president.
Okay, yeah.
But... there was this whole thing that we had to do. I think it was every year. It might have been every other year. But where you had to do X amount of push-ups, chin-ups, climb that goddamn rope, run around the track, do all the things that I'm all... I can't.
I'm not going to.
I physically can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You think that these arms are able to hold up this amount of weight? It isn't going to happen.
Come on.
How strong do you think
Buffy,
I am?
let's go, girl.
I can't climb the rope. I can't do a pull-up. I can't,
all in one day. They wanted you to all in one day. That's
yes.
I'm like,
I mean, and it was spread out, I think, over 2 days, but it was a lot of shit. I can't do a push-up.
Yeah.
It's like, I physically can't. And it wasn't just like, like my daughter, I can't do that. Which she says about everything.
Literally everything.
It's like, I physically couldn't.
Literally.
So,
yeah.
But I found all of that. But that was another place where the parenting thing, I think, also came in. Because you had the parents, like mine, who were just like, well, you got to do it, blah, blah. Never tried to get me out of the things I couldn't do. Yeah. And then you had the parents who... like Beverly Goldberg is like, oh no contact sports for my children, and would write notes. And their doctor won't allow it, or blah, blah,
you know
blah.
what? It feels very. I feel half and half because it's so weird that we were raised partially by the same woman. Because when I was transferring high schools because of all the bullying and I was distressed, when I transferred, Grandma went to McMinnville High School. That's the school that I chose, and she said, "Here are the things that are not going to happen." And one of them was gym class, and she said, she's not taking gym. We're not going to make her take gym. And the counselor and the principals and the deans or whatever were all, nope, she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to. And Grandma was like, yeah, we're good, whatever. But I didn't have to. I just was out of it. They said, okay, nope, you don't have to do that. And I said, thank God, bitch, because I took it freshman year and that was good enough. It wasn't good. I hated it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I always took it as my last period of the day, though. So I was like, this is where I get out, I go home. I don't even have to dress down after. I can just wear my sweaty gym clothes home, Right. So there was that. But yeah, girl, gym stresses me out too. But again, I think it was just queer in an environment where you weren't a liked person. Queer, fat, in an environment that isn't made for...
so you're saying that people don't like me. That's what you're saying? Because that's what I hear.
Considering I have met you...
How rude.
I know.
I'm horrified and shocked.
You are a whore.
Yeah.
You've been horrified.
Wow.
No.
I can't even believe you.
I know. Well, listen, I'm back. I'm getting back into my groove after this weekend, okay?
Right. Oh, my God.
This weekend was
another
treacherous.
week of you being sick as a fucking dog.
Okay, listen, I've been prolonged sick all summer, right? Like, guts, a boil, like, all the things happening. Taking all the tests at the doctors, pooping in buckets. It has been rough. We're figuring it out. So far, there's no answers, except I'm sick, so that's cool. It was last weekend. Gavin came home early from work on Friday. Ill. Feverish, chills, sweating, poopy, gross. Couldn't eat, whatever. Amelie Jean, my little baby dog, been sick. Poopy, vomiting, chill. I don't know if she had chills, but sick for a weekend. Saturday, the power goes out for several hours.
Yes.
Fine. Sunday, I wake up 2 a.m. and I'm like, well, I have cramps. And I've been having issues. So I'm like, I'm going to go potty. And then I'm probably going to go watch SVU in the living room because I can't go back to sleep. And then so from 2 to like 5:30 in the morning, watch SVU and went to the bathroom. That's kind of all I did, right? Gavin wakes up around 7-ish. I think I'd passed out on the couch for maybe an hour. He woke up around 7 and came out here, and I said, okay, I'm going to move to the bedroom. Like, maybe I go back to sleep, but I'm going to go to the bathroom. Girl, both ends. I was vomiting and pooping and crying and shitting and farting. I was literally...
all the things, all the mess. Everything, everywhere, all
and, you always hear, or like in movies, like, oh, I'm shitting my pants, so I have to puke in the trash can. That was my life. That's never happened to me. I was devastated. I, at some point, stripped naked and sat on the bathroom floor weeping. I opened the bathroom door and crawled out and cried and said, Mamie, I don't feel good.
I'm just picturing Gollum, right?
Close. Bright red.
All your hair had fallen out.
Literally, my teeth were all janky. My eyes, I instantly had Crohn's disease. It was weird. But I was sweaty. I could feel it. My face was beet red, and I was pooling sweat. I was so sick. And so for the next few hours, it was that. I would go lay down, be freezing but sweating, and my sheets are wet, and then I'd be shitting and vomiting. And it was... That was a lot of Sunday, yeah. And I couldn't eat. I thought I was going to die. But I was so dehydrated. I got to a point, I know this is all gross. I'm really sorry, but you're going to live with it. There was nothing left in me. Like, literally nothing. Because I had vomited or shit it all out. And it was the worst day of my life. Yesterday was better, and today's getting even better. But it's been pretty rancid. Like, I have felt like I should just die. Roll over and die. Because it was awful. Yeah.
Well, food poisoning will do that to you.
Yeah, and that's what you say. So I believe you because I'm not a doctor.
Well, just all of the things, the fact that he had it and then you had it, and it's just the way you described it, it sounds like food poisoning.
Yeah, it was unbearable.
And I learned this year, yes, I was this old when I learned that food poisoning is contagious. Which I was like, how is it contagious? Yeah. But it's contagious because the germ that causes it, it's in your puke, and it's in your... So if someone else has to clean up your puke, and they're not smart about it, like they're not using protective like gloves and whatever, they can easily get it.
So,
and if you're like even just being in someone else's... It depends on how badly...
Yeah, I probably got it from Gavin. How rude. I want you to know, though, that's another thing. I've always talked about how much I love Gavin and how perfect he is and precious and sweet to me. I was violently ill, and homeboy took... again, care of me.
You crawled out on the floor looking like Gollum, and he stayed with you.
He cleaned up my vomit, girl.
That's amazing.
And I said, I'm so sorry. Granted, I hadn't eaten anything, so it was just like water and bile, yeah. But like, still, I was like, I'm so sorry. And they had Amelie Jean had shit and vomited all over the floor. So he was just cleaning up his girl's puke and vomit all day. And, but I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's all, no, it's fine. I'm like, is it? Is it fine? Because I feel like I'm dying. Yeah, it was a rough time. He is, I know.
You're a lucky lady.
I feel super lucky.
I'm sorry, but I literally am picturing you crawling out of the bathroom completely like naked mole rat looking like Gollum.
Sweaty. Girl, I swear to God. Sweaty and bright red.
Precious.
Yeah. But I didn't feel good. It was awful.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I am laughing because, well, it's funny.
I know.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
That was fun. So I'm back to just feeling normal shitty and not complete knockdown, drag out.
Low grade shitty instead of full force shitting.
High key shit. Yeah, girl, I feel low grade, not high key. We're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, that being said, we've come to the end of another podcast. Sorry that the whole last of it was talking about shit, but
listen, it's been my life.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops. And it's just sometimes different for all of us.
Right. And some people do it more regularly, and some people explode.
Yeah.
And so some people are like a little atom bomb and just cover their room and shit. Whatever.
I'm calling the discrimination police for your
I
discrimination.
think you probably should.
Anyway.
I know. So, that's the end.
Yeah.
And we do this every week.
I
don't know why, but we do.
We do.
Season 3, and we've been doing this for, we're on our 3rd year.
That's crazy.
But our podcast comes out every Wednesday.
It does.
And clearly we talk about whatever the fuck we want every week.
Which is per usual, standard of our life.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I start out with a topic of some sort.
And then
we eventually, most of the time, get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't.
Yeah,
but
sometimes we don't. Yep.
True. And so, if you would like to send us a message or tell us how you feel or tell us you hate us, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We love hate mail. Send
mail.
it to itwouldsseemasthough@gmail.com. You can find us on pretty much any podcasting app.
Yeah. Go download one.
Go download one. And then if you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode because it'll come right to you. And you can, if you have, I don't know who actually calls it by the real name, an Echo Dot. If you have an Alexa, you can just say, Alexa, play It Would Seem As Though. And guess what? That bitch will play it.
And then you hear other voices cackling at you.
Right.
Take a little, talk a little.
Right. But that's all.
Yeah, girl, we gotta go.
I gotta go spend some time alone.
Oh my god. No, you don't. There's no lady next door for you.
Oh god.
I know. You can stay here.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
It would seem as though